Okay.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us for our Monday Minute today. I'm Dr. Monica Tillett, Doctor of Physical Therapy with New Direction Rehabilitation and Wellness. And most of you know that we're a mobile practice here in the Triad, and our goal is to help seniors, stay safe and independent at home. But there may come a time where you need to consider moving to an assisted living community, or maybe you have someone who has memory issues like Alzheimer's or dementia, and they need closer supervision. And so I am with Tina Stearns with Spring Arbor of Thomasville, and she's going to tell us a little bit about their facility and the services that they offer, and just what makes them so special. So thank you, Tina, for joining us today.
Oh, Monica, it's my honor. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Start off by telling us a little bit about Spring Arbor and what makes you guys so special.
Okay, I'm happy to do that. So Spring Arbor of Thomasville has been around since 1991. What that means is we have cared for generations of families, specifically in this local area, but also the surrounding counties. And what's wonderful about that is if a new resident joins us, they often find somebody that's already a resident here that they either grew up with or went to school with or worked with. And so it's a very family feel because we have been here so long. And then our memory care unit is what we call the cottage. That was actually an add-on about 10 years ago. So the cottage is all of the spring arbors. There's about 20 spring arbors in North Carolina and Virginia. And all the memory care units are called the cottage, but they're all laid out a little differently because of depending on when the community was built. And our cottage really looks like a cottage. It's only 14 beds, only 7 rooms. And it's really, when I tour people through it, they say they love it. I mean, and I'm sure everybody likes to think that their memory care unit is the best, but I have to tell you, ours is pretty hard to beat. So if you have a loved one that needs memory care, I really urge you to let me send you either a virtual tour of both assisted living in the cottage, or we're also doing in-person tours now if people are really serious about a move. And of course, with all the COVID protocol, taking temperatures, wearing masks, completing surveys, that kind of thing.
Okay, and I like the way that you bring up the cottage atmosphere there. And it's so important for people to feel like they're at home and not in, a facility, because that's the stigma that most people have. Like, I don't want to be in a facility, but it sounds like you make it a home-like atmosphere, and that's so important.
Monica, couldn't be more true. And, I think a lot of people think of, they'll call and say, well, I think it's time to put my loved one in a nursing home. And I have to explain to them, we are not a nursing home. We are an assisted living community that helps people with what's called the activities of daily living. And there's 5 of them. So it's eating, and I don't mean preparing the foods because we do that for everybody. Everybody in assisted living and memory care gets help with 2 things: food and medication, because they're not allowed to have a cooking element in the room, so they can't make their own meals if they wanted to, and they're not allowed to have medication in the room. So everybody gets help with food and medication. But in addition to that, the activities of daily living are eating, and I mean like maybe somebody needs their meat cut up for them, or they actually need somebody to help feed them. So eating, dressing, bathing, toileting, and ambulating, meaning getting from point A to point B. So that's what assisted living is about. We are not a nursing home. And I think those virtual tours and those in-person tours really kind of wash away whatever image they had in their head of what we are, because we're not a nursing home. We're not.
Mm-hmm. So what do your residents enjoy most about Spring Arbor of Thomasville?
Well, like I said, it's a real family atmosphere, so they love that. The activity director is wonderful. She's so creative, and I really encourage, since we're on Facebook right now, once this interview is over, please go search for Spring Arbor of Thomasville. And the activity director does a wonderful job of posting photos and videos of the different activities that the residents do. So it's everything from bingo to music to cooking to crafts to I mean, there's just a million different things. And when we don't have the COVID restrictions, we have people from the outside that come in and perform and sing. And right now, those kinds of things are happening in the backyard to stick with the COVID protocols. But there's just all kinds of really fun, wonderful things. So if somebody might be at home and they're maybe kind of lonely, or they are living with a family member that works, and so they're there by themselves quite a bit, you come here and you're going to be entertained, and you're going to get your meals prepared for you. And it's really that yummy Southern cooking, you know, that fabulous food. You're going to have interactions, and just the socialization that you get joining a community like ours can really help people thrive. When I first came here, a gentleman was here, and when he got here, he was pretty much in a wheelchair most of the time. And within a year, he's walking around the building.
Wow.
Just right. Yeah. And also, that brings to mind, Broad River Rehab is actually an outpatient rehab operation that is on site. So people can have physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy Monday through Friday. And that, of course, again, helps them thrive. So that's your business. You know how important that is and how vital it is to keep our seniors moving and agile and you know, preventing falls and all that.
Right. And like you said, that is so important to have that functional mobility to help maintain their, you know, independence. But the socialization that you mentioned earlier is just as important. And that's one thing that I've seen since COVID has started, you know, that socialization piece has been missing, and my seniors at home are really affected by that. So it's good to know that in these facilities you're not separated off. You have people there that you can socialize with, and you have plenty of activities to do.
And I also want to encourage the family members. It always surprises me when I hear family members say, well, since I can't come inside and see them, there's really no point to do window visits or FaceTime. And that is so not true. Window visits are important. FaceTime calls are important. Starting tomorrow here in our community, we are starting with in-house visits on a very limited basis, only 3 a day. They're 45 minutes. They will be supervised to make sure that the maximum of 2 family members and 1 resident, they're 6 feet apart, they have their masks on. It's supervised from a staff person watching through the window, just make sure everybody behaves themselves. Right. There's no hugging going on. As badly as you want to hug them, we understand that, but safety first. We got to keep these people safe first. So please reach out to your loved one wherever they may be, if they are in a community, or even if they just live out of town and you aren't able to go do a window visit. Calls and you know, letters through the mail, or anything that helps them know and remember that you love them, you miss them, you wish you could be with them. It's just extremely important. It truly is.
Absolutely. And if someone was interested in coming there to stay, how far in advance should they contact you and be put on a list?
Well, there's not necessarily a list. Sometimes there's a list. Many times there's a list for our memory care. Often we're full in memory care. I would say if you're beginning, to me, it always boils down to safety. What is the safest environment for your loved one? And not only just safety, but again, if they're lonely and they need that social interaction. So I would recommend people, there's no time better to call than now, even just to get the original basic information. But if somebody was in a panic, like, I can't do this anymore, I'm getting ready to go into surgery in 2 weeks and nobody's going to be here to take care of mama, whatever the case may be, we've got a lot of paperwork that we have to get done from the family members as well as the loved one's physician. Our nurse has to assess the loved one to make sure we're able to meet their needs. And so I would say, you know, generally speaking, we could get it done in a week, sometimes even shorter than that. But for me, what I would recommend is if you're beginning to even wonder if this is a possible solution for you or your loved one, just go ahead and call us. Just go ahead and call us and let's talk and let's just figure out what the situation is and how we might be able to help.
Right, right. So that leads us into a great point. Give us your contact information. Where are you located?
We are at 915 West Cooksey Drive in Thomasville, North Carolina, 27360. If you're familiar with the area, we are a golf shot from the intersection of Highway 109 and Business 85. Our phone number is 336-472-7171. I'm Tina Ketchy Stearns. I'm the Sales and Marketing Director. But if I'm not here, anybody can take your name and number, give you a little bit of information about us, and then I will follow up with them just as soon as possible.
Awesome, awesome. Is there anything else you want to share with us about your special facility?
I would tell you, and I'm very proud to say that when I'm giving tours with families, our best salespeople are our residents. We will be walking down the halls and I will introduce them and they will start chit-chatting with the potential new resident as well as our staff. And we got everybody saying, come on and join us. You'll like it here. So my job's oftentimes pretty easy because I've got a lot of salespeople helping me just through the residents and the comments they make and our wonderful staff. So I would love for anybody that's even beginning to wonder about Thomasville, Spring Arbor of Thomasville, and if we might be a solution for them, please do call.
Well, I will definitely put your number in the comments underneath our video. And when you call, let Tina know that you learned about her from our Monday Minute tonight. And I encourage everyone to, like she said, call them, get a virtual tour, get an in-person tour, to just get a feel of actually what is there and what that atmosphere is like. And don't just assume that it's not what you're going to expect it to be. So thank you, Tina, so much. We really appreciate you getting up here and telling us more about Spring Arbor of Thomasville.
Thank you, Monica. This was a real honor. I really appreciate the invite and thank you for the wonderful work you do in the community as well.
Thank you so much.